Ah yes, video game official soundtracks. These things just kinda hit different, and it's no surprise why some of them have become absolute classics. Video game soundtracks are often defined by their instantly recognizable melodies. We got Mario, Doki Doki Literature Club, Undertale.
You thought I was gonna say...
All these songs give the game a distinct identity and also enhance the overall story. But what if I told you that there was one game that had an OST that could stand toe-to-toe with all those other soundtracks? Another video game OST that also adds to the mood and emotions and has memorable melodies. I'm of course talking about Yume Nikki. Nah, I'm only kidding. But Yume Nikki's soundtrack is still really goated though. Anyway, Blue Archive. This game is genuinely spectacular. Like, a gacha game with a real overarching story that actually works without feeling forced. Yeah, I'd like to see you try that, Genshin. I'm joking, I don't know anything about Genshin. Yeah, Blue Archive is really slept on. Some people just kinda give up on the game after a week, which is such a shame since the game just gets better the more I play it. Another thing that is also slept on in my opinion is the soundtrack. Outside of Unwelcome School, few Blue Archive tracks seem to get attention, even though many are just as, if not even more memorable. Before we start, I just want to add a disclaimer. Firstly, I'm not a music expert, so please take my analysis with a grain of salt. Secondly, this analysis will contain major spoilers for every Blue Archive story, up until Volume F, so continue at your own risk. Lastly, these are all just my interpretations, and none of this is canon or has been confirmed by the creators and developers, at least not to my knowledge. So without further ado, let me explain my interpretations of Blue Archive's soundtrack and why they deserve to stand shoulder to shoulder with gaming's best. I love the tone and vibe of Blue Archive songs. I like how most of the soundtrack is just electronic music, really fitting in with the futuristic vibe of Kivotos and the world. The only song I can think of that isn't electronic is Action 68. But that fits perfectly since the event story that the song is in is very old school and noir. That's not the only instance of the song's vibe fitting. Black Suit's theme is another example of this. The instruments are something we've never really heard before, which perfectly suits, well, Black Suit. Just like his theme, Black Suit sticks out like a sore thumb, completely unlike any other NPC outside of Gematria. Another example of this has to be Scarlet Chrysanthemum. You know what? Let's just call it a Theme 223. This theme is the main soundtrack for the Moonlight Dream event, where Red Winter visits Shanhaijing. This theme is really good as it perfectly blends the loud horn instruments associated with Red Winter with the calming string instruments associated with Shanhaijing. It goes hard, which is more than I can say for the event story itself. Hey! Lastly, Pixel Time is the theme for the game development department, and it's an 8-bit song. Cool. I don't think I need to elaborate further. But all of that is just scratching the surface of why the soundtrack's tone fits the game so well. Now, let's focus on the songs that define Blue Archive's major moments. We got Constant Moderato, the first song we hear in the game and also the title screen BGM. There's also Luminous Memory, the second song in the OST list which plays during important moments of the story. Ri Oharu, which I consider to be the main theme of Volume F. What's this? Unwelcome School? No, get out of here, we're not gonna focus on that, alright? Get out of here. Now, what do these three songs have in common? They are pretty upbeat and fast-paced songs, but they also have slow and calming moments in some parts. I think that it fits the game perfectly, as Blue Archive is just filled with tons of high-stakes, action-packed events, but there's also those small little blissful moments that remind you of what makes these students so precious. They blend adrenaline with introspection. It's emblematic of the memories we make with these girls. This connection between fast-paced energy and calm moments mirrors the deeper meaning of Blue Archive itself. Blue refers to the springtime of life, which is youth, and Archive refers to a collection. So put that together and we got a collection of stories about youth. Yes, I've learned my lesson from the previous Blue Archive analysis video. But thank you for being very nice about it. Anyway, do you realize that these songs, Constant Madarato and Ryo Haru, have alternate versions? Notice how these songs feel connected? That's not a coincidence. That's a storytelling technique called a leitmotif. Let's dive more into that. Leitmotifs are a recurrent theme throughout a musical or literary composition, associated with a particular person, idea, or situation. With that being said, I absolutely adore medias that use leitmotifs, and Blue Archive is no exception. I'll cover some of the songs with them and explain why it works so well. First, let's talk about Interface. The original Interface song just feels like a typical average Blue Archive OST, just the usual electronic music. It gives off a vibe of a normal mission that our students have to go through. But then the hard arrangement kicks in and it feels a little off compared to the other songs. It gives off a sense that there may be something even more sinister happening behind the scenes of said mission. Great storytelling on top of being a certified banger. Also, we got Oharu. We first hear this song in the beginning of the game, and the student council president is giving her little monologue about how we'll have some crazy memories with these students. Skip ahead 3.5 stories later, and we reach Volume F, where Ryo Haru plays. As I've said already, I personally feel that Ryo Haru is Volume F's main theme, since it plays multiple times throughout the story, and also the Volume F PV video uses it. Ryo Haru is basically a more epic and intense version of Oharu. So to me, Ryo Haru represents how all these experiences we've made with these students, they're all coming together for this one big event. Events from Force Closure Task Force, Clockwork Flower Pavan, Eden Treaty, and etc. They're all coming together to wrap up loose ends and defeat the apocalypse. Wow, it is incredible how a single track can capture the entire spirit of Volume F. Next, there is Shoujo Delight and Shoujo Sorrow. I haven't reached the part where Shoujo Sorrow plays yet, as I've just started reading Traces of a Dream, but based on what I've heard, it's really great. Shoujo Delight mostly plays during the flashback scenes between Yume and Hoshino. Having a sad piano version of it really shows how Hoshino is kind of mourning her dead friend and their memories. Just a speculation for now, but it feels right. Also, Shoujo Sorrow? What a name. Okay, so here's another song that probably has a leitmotif, but I've never heard anyone talk about it. Luminous Memory and Blooming Moon. There's one part of Blooming Moon that sounds exactly like the main melody of Luminous Memory. Now, IDK if I'm going crazy, but I think that there's a meaning behind this. This song plays during Chise's L2D, when she writes a poem about the blooming moon. It's a really special moment, and one of my favorite relationship stories in the whole game. The leitmotif to Luminous Memory signifies the fact that Sensei does think that this is a special memory. A luminous memory, one might say.
Say that again?
Maybe I'm just reaching, but if it is intentional, there will be some next level storytelling right there. But that's not all. Another brilliant example is Constant Madarato. Constant Madarato is most commonly known for being the loading screen music, but it also has a piano arrangement version that plays during Hifumi's speech in Eden Treaty. This fits as Hifumi's speech links pretty closely with the game's overarching message about cherishing youth. The fact that a somber yet hopeful version of the main theme plays during this scene really hammers down the fact that this is, in fact, a very special and integral moment. I also think that it is really poetic how Hifumi is one of the characters to appear in the loading screen. That's really nice. Also, I know that Theme 153 exists, and I know that it too is a leitmotif to Constant Madarato. I'm just not gonna talk about it since I haven't gotten to the part where that song plays in the story, but it's still really good though. Update. So the Hina event had a rerun, and it wasn't until now that I realized that Yumeji Party actually has a subtle leitmotif to Hina's piano ballad. How the hell did I not know of this? That's actually really clever. Yup, I think that's all the leitmotifs, and I'm totally not missing anything else. Alright, fine, I'll talk about Unwelcome School. Look, despite thinking that Unwelcome School might be a little overrated, it does add to the story too. There's a sad alternate version of Unwelcome School called Welcome School, and it's genuinely really powerful. Welcome School plays during the scene where Shiroko Terra is reminiscing about her past. The two Shirokos have a little conversation about all the fun stuff they did, such as robbing banks. Welcome School gives a sense of old good memories flooding back without Shiroko Terra having to outright tell us that sentiment. The fact that they were able to make such a goofy song sound depressing kinda boggles my mind. Like, goddamn, why is this game so good? Blue Archive's use of leitmotifs isn't just great, it's essential to why the story feels so powerful. But y'all know what's even crazier? That's not even the best leitmotif in the game. Let's talk about Theme 140, Defective Pixel. Yeah, I'm being for real. Defective Pixel is the most underrated Blue Archive song, and it has the best use of a leitmotif in the whole game in my opinion. It may also be another sad version of an existing OST, in this case Pixel Time, but it has way more going for it than just being a sad piano cover. Firstly, let's just take a moment to appreciate how gut-wrenching that name is. Defective Pixel. Yeah, sorry, I love your Welcome School and Shoujo Sorrow, but the name Defective Pixel just kinda hits different. Secondly, let's talk about the context behind this song. There are multiple instances where this song plays, such as when Kay redeems herself, and it really does work well in that context because it shows how Aris does care for Kay. But the one I specifically want to talk about is when Aris is about to be taken away and killed off by Rio. Theme 140 perfectly encapsulates the overwhelming emotions in this scene. Notice how throughout the song, there's scattered sound effects weaving through the track. I love this as it shows the characters having many thoughts about the whole situation. It mirrors their jumbled emotions, unable to piece together the horror unfolding. I especially like the static sound effect, as not only static associated with games, but it also symbolizes messiness and how cluttered the characters' thoughts are. There's also multiple instruments playing in the beginning section. There's a xylophone-like tone and ghostly vocals layering the main melody, adding to the eerie confusion. I think this further proves my point that the characters have many thoughts about how they can't comprehend what's going on. Then we get to the main melody. The main melody feels unstable, like someone on the verge of breaking down. It sounds off and a little distorted. It tries to sound happy, just like the original Pixel Time song that this is based on, but it ends up feeling creepy and off-putting since it doesn't gel well with the rest of the song. I interpret this as Aris trying to make the best out of this gloomy situation. She's devastated that she has to separate with her friends at the game development department forever and leave them for good. But on the other hand, she knows that's for the greater good, and she won't be able to hurt anyone else if she's dead. Smiling while crying. The sound of a goodbye no one is ready for. Perfectly portrayed in a song alone without any words. In a game filled with countless memories, Defective Pixel is a moment where those memories feel like they're shattering, and that makes it unforgettable. Blue Archive has a lot of songs with lyrics and they're all mostly amazing. But for the purposes of this video, I'll only be talking about the ones that appear in the mainline story that I've finished. Target for Love for Force Closure Task Force, Our Quest for Clockwork Flower Pavan, Kyrie Eleison for Eden Treaty, and Memories of Kindness for Volume F. Each of these songs don't just sound amazing, but they also complete the arcs of the stories that they appear in. Let's first start with Target for Love. This song plays in the scene where Hoshino finally reunites with her friends and sensei. While Target for Love fits the whole game's theme, it resonates most powerfully in this final scene. The song is about strong bonds and relationships. Most of the song is about the singer expressing love towards someone. Heals me like when I see the shining stars, and your voice coming to me, rushing to me. Shows how Hoshino feels a sense of comfort and relief now that she's back with her friends. I can't stop thinking about you anymore, and when I think I'm alone, I still feel like you're always behind me. Shows a deep emotional bond between her, sensei, and the rest of our widows. Are you ready? Because I will give it all for you. Now this line, I love this line specifically. During the beginning stages, Hoshino doesn't really trust Sensei. However, as Sensei spends more time in Abydos, Hoshino slowly begins to soften up. At the end, after Sensei and Abydos rescue Hoshino, that's when she finally realizes that Sensei is genuinely trustworthy and a good adult. She's willing to give it all for him. is supposed to show that Sensei is a target for love to these students.
Say that again?
Yeah, it's safe to say that Hoshino's arc in Force Closure Task Force would not feel as complete if Target for Love didn't play at the end, which is why the anime adaptation sucks, but let's not worry about that. While Target for Love captures the personal bond in Force Closure Task Force, our quest reflects the larger spirit of teamwork in Clockwork Flower Heaven. Since our quest is in Japanese, I'll mostly focus on the tone and feeling rather than a full lyrical breakdown. I think that our quest is an excellent credit scheme for Clockwork Flower Heaven. I love how the song's lyrics are phrased like an RPG and really fits the game development department. I especially like how the instruments have some 8-bit elements to it, really unique and fits the tone. And that's not all. The entire song revolves around overcoming challenges as a team, just like what happens in Clockwork Flower Heaven. Almost every club in Millennium put aside their differences to team up and save Eris. Overall, the song is about how there will always be uncertainties in life. In this case, the fact that Eris might be taken over by K again. But even so, we should still focus on the positives in these situations. Eris may have been a killing machine, but at least she wants to do the right thing and has strong willpower, strong enough to override K. Yeah, Clockwork Flower Heaven is all about the lengths we go for love, and our quest captures that spirit perfectly. Come on, what other Blue Archive song has the characters themselves actually singing it? Other than that one. And that one. And that one. Alright, I got it! Kari Eleison is next up on our list. Eden Treaty to me has a message about peace and forgiveness. The most obvious example being Misono Mika's redemption, which I already covered previously in another video. And there's also the Area Squad's redemption too. Kari Eleison is a song about redemption. It directly translates to Lord have mercy, and the Lord never refuses to those who seek forgiveness. But that's not all, there's a bigger picture here. Mika falls into darkness because of her hatred towards Gehenna students. She despises Gehenna so much to the point where she literally sabotaged the Eden Treaty and almost killed Sensei. Similarly, Misono Mika also doesn't really like Kari Eleison as a song. However, when she's fighting off the Justina followers, she plays this song, and against all odds, she even sings along with it. This represents how Mika has changed for the better and is finally accepting the things that she dislikes. The game never directly tells us that Mika doesn't hate Gehenna anymore, but the fact that she sings along to Kari Eleison is all the proof I need that Mika has come to terms with them. Show not tell, kids! Wow, Misono Mika for real gets better the more I analyze her. Last but certainly not least, we have Memories of Kindness for Volume F, which, just like Volume F, is the best one out of the 4. Wow, not even one sentence in and we already found the connection. Volume F is absolutely fantastic as it expands on the themes and world left behind by the other 3 stories. It shows a new side of the Force Closure Task Force, specifically Shiroko. It ties up loose ends in Clockwork Flower Heaven, and it adds to the message of redemption that Eden Treaty had. For example, in Volume F, Kei and Ryo get redeemed, and both of them contribute to saving Kivotos. This wraps up their arcs from Clockwork Flower Heaven and answers unanswered questions like, is Kei going to do anything, or where is Ryo? Not only that, but Shiroko Terror also gets redeemed too. Memories of Kindness hooks onto the idea with lines such as, with all my flaws and past mistakes, or our imperfections make us who we are, so don't look back and carry on, and the future awaiting us. Similarly to Target for Love, Memories of Kindness also has lyrics about love and affection, but they take it to a whole nother level, showing how the students now have a deeper connection with Sensei. All these precious things I hold, and it's you who let me know. That line did not need to go as hard as it did. Memories of Kindness also feels like a perfect credit song to the first arc of Blue Archive, feeling like a closure to the previous stories, but also hinting that this is just the beginning with the last line, let us keep searching for what could lie for us beyond the next door. Man, Memories of Kindness is one of the, if not the best song in Blue Archive, having the message about love that Target for Love and Our Quest have, expanding on the idea of forgiveness that Kari Eleison has, and hyping us up for future installments. This song perfectly sums up what makes Blue Archive so special to so many people. It feels like a song that the students wrote for Sensei to show their appreciation, a thank you, a promise, a reminder of all these connections, these bonds. This place is a miracle, a place where all miracles begin.
Say that again?
In summary, I made this video as an excuse to talk about Team 140. Nah, I'm just joking. Though that was my intention at first. However, the more I researched and delved deeper into the rabbit hole of Blue Archive's soundtrack, the more I started to genuinely appreciate the craft and story of these songs. Even the songs that I think aren't spectacular, like Unwelcome School or Black Suit's Theme, I still think that they are good songs and they make the game significantly better than it already is. Yeah, I think I speak for almost everyone in the Blue Archive fandom when I say that we love this game for more than just its cute and funny girls. We love the game for its overarching theme of redemption and youth. We love the game for the bonds that we form with our students, seeing them grow to become better versions of themselves. And maybe the gameplay, I might be alone on that one. And I think the soundtrack is emblematic of that fact. It's absolutely mind-boggling how I was able to talk this much about the soundtrack alone. Imagine how much I have to say about everything else. And as Memories of Kindness stated, this is all just the beginning. If there's one thing I learned about Blue Archive, it's that it gets better and better the more I play it. And I, for one, can't wait to see what else this game has to offer. Thanks for watching and good night, Kivotos. Of Force Closure Task Force. Force Closure Task Force.